Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Ben. I'm a self-taught web dev who went from zero to paid full stack in 8 months studying the Odin project. It's been a little while, but I thought I've collected some opinions, I guess, on the state of the industry right now, especially in the context of LLMs and AI coding. And I thought I'd share those. So I started learning about 5 years ago, and I've been working professionally for 4 years now. A year at least of that was without AI and LLMs. So I feel like I was one of the last true coders, let's say, that really got into the industry and had to learn entirely by myself. And damn, am I grateful for doing that. But anyway, I'll cut to the chase. The three things that I just want to give some opinions on are, well, is it still worth getting into software engineering right now? That's the first one. The second one is what AI tools I recommend you use, because there is a whole ocean of them out there and it's really hard to figure out what to do and what to use. And lastly, the skills that I leverage day to day that really help me stand out and I think would be very useful for you to know that you should focus on. So first and foremost, do I think it's still a good time to become a software engineer? Yes, I do. I still think that there is a very bright future in the industry. I think we're seeing more and more now that AI is not replacing software engineers. It's an augmentation. It's a tool. It does change workflows. It changed things quite significantly, but we're learning that code used to be expensive. Code is now cheaper to write, but good code is still important, and you need software engineers to write good code. LLMs left to their own devices will write slop. Just ask it to write a sentence on anything and you will get slop, right? It's going to have a lot of filler fluff that you don't need, whether it's the English language or it's code. And so you still need someone who understands what good code looks like to drive the LLM. And there is still so much in the day-to-day job, the tasks that a software engineer does, that is not the writing the code. It's turning product need, user need in the product into code that works and is maintainable, scalable, and it's going to help the company succeed in the long run, right? Because shit code will work today, but it will not help the company in the long run. So that's why you need a software engineer still. And we're seeing companies laid software engineers off and now rehiring them. There's still lots of software engineering jobs out there. In fact, the hiring has increased in recent months. As far as I can tell, I'm getting more DMs on LinkedIn, etc. And just anecdotally through the industry, I'm hearing more ripples of this. I've seen headlines of it too, that the number of jobs is now sort of starting to climb up from its low in the last couple of years. Software engineers are still needed. Take your average person off the street and ask them to write code. Well, they could write code with an LLM, but it'll be crap code, right? And companies don't want crap code, they want good code. So yes, still very much worth getting into the industry. However, big caveat here is you need to know the fundamentals. And the only way you're really going to learn the fundamentals, especially if you don't know them right now, is to learn them without the crutch of LLMs. If you lean on LLMs too hard to learn coding, you will never learn the fundamentals. So do something like the Odin project without AI writing any of your code, then you'll have strong fundamentals. Secondly, there are a lot of tools out there. Which ones should you focus on? How should you code? Once you've learned the fundamentals, now it's time to start using LLMs. I'm a late adopter. However, I keep a very close eye on the early adopters, especially in my company, who are always experimenting with new tools. And I see what works and what doesn't. I let them figure it out, and then I pick up the good bits. So basically what I still use, which has been the bread and butter for the last year, is I use Claude CLI. That's a command line interface version of Claude. And I run it within my IDE locally. It has context, access to my local environment, my code. And I just work with it in very tight context, feedback loops, one-on-one. I develop plans, I let it implement those plans, I keep a very close eye on its changes, and I'm going back and forth with it very closely because I know what good code's going to look like, and I tell it what to write. It's just quicker at writing it than I am, that's why I use it. I also do use it to brainstorm, rubber ducking, things like that, but I am in control, that's the main thing. There are many other tools out there are many ways to do it. I prefer to use Claude within the CLI because it works, it's productive. Comparing myself to other people on my team and other developers in the company, I am productive. So that's why I use it. And it's simple. there's so many tools, so many shiny objects out there to experiment with, to try out, and a lot of the time I think it's hype, and you can do really well by just focusing on what works. Next, skills I would recommend. I would recommend getting very good at reading code. You can use LLMs to digest pull requests for you, because your team members, your colleagues are going to be putting up more PRs, you're going to be reading much more code, you're going to be reviewing that code. Yes, you can use an LLM to do that. However, there is nothing worse than somebody who has used an LLM to review your pull request and then has copy-pasted the responses from that LLM into comments on that pull request. They have done no thinking themselves. That is a terrible way to review a PR. Please do not do that. Maybe use an LLM to understand something quickly, but always synthesize yourself. Write comments yourself. Review the code yourself. Understand what the code is doing yourself. Do not outsource that thinking to an LLM. It will become very apparent very quickly when you're doing that. It does not make you look good one bit. So get good at reading code, because when you are writing and producing features, LLMs are going to be writing code. You've got to read that code to know if it's good or not. When you're reviewing pull requests from your colleagues, you've got to read that code to know whether it's good or not, and to point out things that could be improved. You have to do that. You are the master, you are in control, you are the expert. The LLM is not. The LLM is just your doer. You need to know exactly what it should be doing and telling it that. Please do not outsource your thinking to LLMs. You are the controller. And so yeah, get very good at reading code. Read lots of it, and the more you do, the better you will get. The better the code you produce will be, the better the reviews that you give your colleagues will be, and that will really help you stand out. Anyway, short and sweet, my opinions. What do you think?